What is going on, everyone? The Houston Texans are still without an offensive coordinator, and I am getting impatient. I'm not going to lie to you guys. However, there's a reason why I'm here and not in the Houston Texans organization. And I want to give them credit because they are taking their time during this offensive coordinator search. They've had a few interviews in house. Gerard Johnson, Bill Lazor. They've had a lot of interviews with gentlemen from other organizations like Nick Caley, Jeff Nixon, Thad Lewis, Brian Johnson, Grant Udinski. Those just happened today. We're going to be taking a look at those guys. But who wouldn't want to coach the Houston Texans? Who wouldn't want to call plays for CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, Joe Mixon, Laramie Tunsil, and so on and so forth? We're going to look at who the Houston Texans have interviewed so far. You guys let me know in the comments down below who are your favorite names to potentially be the next offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans and play calling for CJ Stroud in year 3. My name is Ruben Calvillo, and this is the 713 Houston Sportcast where I drop daily Houston Texans content. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest news rumors and updates. And this episode is brought to you and powered by BetUS. Today, they're giving you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. On your second and third deposit, it's 125% promo bonus. Promo code YouTube150 gets that for you guys. Quick 24-hour payouts, 24-hour customer service. BetUS, where the game begins. Let's start with the two interviews that happened today. The first one, Brian Johnson. Now, if you remember Brian Johnson, he was a hot name just a few years ago. He is currently with the Washington Commanders as an assistant head coach / offensive pass game coordinator. Now, Brian Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, also has experience at OC, not only in the college level, but at the NFL level as well. He started his coaching career in Utah from 2010 to 2011 as a quarterbacks coach. Still in Utah from 2012 to 2013, was an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Then goes to Mississippi State from 2014 to 2016. He's there as the quarterbacks coach. Then spends time here in Houston, offensive coordinator and quarterback coach during 2017. 2018 to 2019 was in Florida as the quarterbacks coach. Then in 2020, still with Florida, got promoted to offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Then we see his time in the NFL. 2021 and 2022 was the quarterbacks coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. In 2023 was the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. And like I mentioned earlier, this past season with the Washington Commanders as the assistant head coach, offensive passing game coordinator. I like that he is with Cliff Kingsbury. We know once again how their season played out. Jaden Daniels is a fantastic rookie quarterback. This is interesting here because Brian Johnson, like we mentioned, was a hot name a couple of years ago. Then it kind of fizzled out when the Philadelphia Eagles were sour for that 1 year. With that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts and comments about Brian Johnson. Moving on to the second interview that happened today. Grant Udinski. Now, this is a young guy, 28 years old. He started his coaching career in 2019 with Baylor, then spent time with the Carolina Panthers from 2020 to 2021 as a coaching assistant. Now, someone who he was with in the Panthers organization goes to the Minnesota Vikings, and that guy tells Kevin O'Connell about Grant Udinski. And from 2022 to 2024, this season, has all been with the Minnesota Vikings. In 2022, was an assistant to the head coach / special projects. 2023, assistant quarterbacks coach. And this season spent time as an assistant offensive coordinator slash assistant quarterbacks coach. Now, I don't know if it is time for Grant Udinski to be given an offense. However, I love the connection to Kevin O'Connell. And hey, that's now two with the straight connection to Kevin O'Connell. Brian Johnson and Grant Udinski. Are the Houston Texans trying to go to that style of offense? But the Houston Texans had two interviews today, Brian Johnson and Grant Udinski. The interviews that we already know about, this one was surprising. Thad Lewis, currently the Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback coach. He started his coaching career in 2018 to 2019 as an offensive analyst under Chip Kelly. Then in 2020, he makes his way to the NFL. Tampa Bay Buccaneers as an intern. 2021 to 2022, assistant wide receivers coach. And then 2023 to this season, quarterbacks coach. So Thad Lewis could potentially be a new first-time play caller. Now, I don't think this is an interview for a offensive coordinator role. I think this might be a interview for a spot on the staff. Like I would say the same thing with Grant Udinski. Jeff Nixon. Now, Jeff Nixon has a lot of hype. Our boy John Hickman from Locked On Texans, he loves him some Jeff Nixon. He is currently the offensive coordinator and the running backs coach for the Syracuse Orange. Now, he has a long coaching history. Started in 1997 Penn State as an assistant. Princeton running backs coach. Shippensburg running backs coach. Chattanooga running backs coach. Tight ends, special teams. That was 2003 to 2004. Temple running backs wide receiver coach. Philadelphia Eagles offense / special teams assistant. Miami Dolphins running back coach. San Francisco 49ers, where he spent time with Chip Kelly, tight ends coach. 2017 to 2019, he spends it at Baylor as a co-offensive coordinator and running backs coach. 2020 was the running backs coach for the Carolina Panthers. 2021, running back coach and interim offensive coordinator. So he has OC experience, ladies and gentlemen. 2023 goes to the New York Giants and is a running backs coach. And this past season, like we mentioned earlier, offensive coordinator and running backs coach for the Syracuse Orange. A lot of experience, a lot of different systems, called plays in college, called plays in the NFL. This would be very interesting. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Take a look at the Syracuse Orange offense this season. It was dynamic, but I just don't know. I just don't know. I really don't. I mean, I think Jeff Nixon, out of the people who we have interviewed, should be in the top 3, right? I would go Nick Caley, Jeff Nixon, and Gerard Johnson. Moving on to Nick Caley. We talked about him yesterday. Why we think he's not a great, but a kind of a favorite to land his offensive coordinator job. His connection with general manager Nick Caserio. They went to the same college together, John Carroll. You look at the coaching experience with Nick. From 2015 to 2022, he spent that with the New England Patriots as an offensive assistant, a tight ends coach, a tight ends fullback coach, and his last season in 22 remained as the tight ends coach. Spent time with Bill Belichick, spent time with Matt Patricia, with Mike McDaniels. That's the New England Patriots. We know a lot about them. The Patriot way, remember. The last 2 seasons are what intrigue you, though. For the Los Angeles Rams, he was a tight ends coach. And then in the offseason, got offered the job to be the offensive coordinator for the New England Patriots with Gerard Johnson. He chose to stay. Chose to stay under Sean McVay for 1 more year to master the offense and was awarded pass game coordinator from Sean McVay. He passed up the opportunity of a lifetime, if I'm being honest with you guys. I mean, you get the opportunity to run an offense in the NFL. You get the obvious pay raise from hundreds of thousands to millions. Decided to bet on himself, work on his tools, and now we're here talking about him potentially being the next offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. So out of the 5 that we have interviewed from the outside of the organization, right? You have Nick Caley, Jeff Nixon, Thad Lewis, Brian Johnson, Grant Udinski. I'll go Nick Caley 1, Jeff Nixon 2, Brian Johnson 3, Thad Lewis 4, and I'll go Grant Udinski 4 and Thad Lewis at 5. I really like the connection with Grant Udinski and Kevin O'Connell. But if I add in Gerard Johnson, I have to put him up there in the top 3. So right now, once again, my top 3 to be the next offensive coordinators for the Houston Texans: Nick Caley, Jeff Nixon, or Gerard Johnson. I don't know what the hell happened to Chip Kelly. I don't even know if he wants to leave Ohio State. I don't even know if the Houston Texans want to interview him. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts and comments down below. These were some of the people that the Houston Texans have interviewed for the next offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans. Sorry for the stutter there. For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free to follow me for more. Go Houston. Have a very blessed day. This episode is brought to you and powered by BetUS.